actually, Tom, you then went on to watch Imitation Girl, which I did see a poster for in the lobby, which had some extremely beautiful poster art going on, and it looked intriguing. What is the actual premise of Imitation Girl?
Well, I should start off by saying this is categorically in no way a horror film. So let's get that kind of out the way straight away. Not a horror film, but a really good film made this year by a female American director, Natasha Kermani, who was there. Now, I think this had come in with a fair bit of buzz anyway, because it was nominated for Best Film at the Milan Film Festival. And essentially, the idea of the film is a sort of alien comes down from space and assumes the form of the first human being that it comes into contact with. And that happens to be a photograph of a porn star. So this alien, who's like in the form of a black goo, happens to sort of slide across the front cover of a magazine. And on the front cover is this porn star. And so transforms into the identical twin of said porn star.
Interesting.
Yes. Now, what I should add is that if this was directed by a male director, and you know, I don't think I'm being stereotypical here. Oh, maybe I should put it differently. If this was directed by certain other directors, male or female, a lot of what this film is about could be done in a very exploitative manner, because a lot of the film takes place following the porn star, who's based in New York, and then the other half of the film takes place with the alien, who looks like the porn star, and she's based in New Mexico. Now, there are a lot of scenes where the porn star is on set when they're filming porn scenes, or when she goes out and has one-night stands with women or men and this type of thing. None of that was filmed in a kind of gratuitous way, which you would expect kind of from your horror films. You know, gratuitous shots of nudity are kind of what's expected, at least kind of in bygone times. But this was actually a very beautifully shot, very artistic film. None of that type of gratuitousness goes on throughout the film. Quite funny, some of it, but really, in no way at all could this be classified as a horror film. So, although it was very good, and I would recommend people seeing it, I'm not really sure why it was at FrightFest.
This falls into our previous episode where we talked about this post-horror article and a ghost story and other films that we've seen this year. And when you did actually say that it was black goo, and it replicated a human, and it sounds a little sci-fi and a little dark, I did think, oh yeah, it does sound like a horror film. When I saw the poster, I did think that the poster looks very stylistic and beautiful, and not at all like you would expect them to be selling a film to a horror fan, so I was quite confused. So now that you've explained it, I can completely see that it definitely doesn't sound like a horror film. Wondering why they did put that at FrightFest. Any ideas, Tom?
I think partially it had a bit of a buzz about it, and I mean it makes FrightFest look good, I suppose, doesn't it? To have a kind of an artistic, beautifully shot, very progressive, with a female director whose background is from Iran. I think it makes it stand out. I think it makes it something a bit different, and I think it makes FrightFest not just about, oh, look at these films where everyone gets mutilated and blown up and shot and nail gunned and all of this type of thing. There is actually another side to FrightFest.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually just looked this up on IMDb, and it's classified as drama sci-fi, which does actually sound exactly like you've just described it. So it doesn't fall under the horror category whatsoever. However, I think this does sound very interesting. I like the premise and the plot of it. When you first started to describe it, I kind of thought of Mork and Mindy for some odd reason. Like, they're coming down to earth and like kind of pretending to fit in sort of thing. The porn star twist is very interesting. The fact that they've not exploited that. But you're probably expecting them to all through the film, which is brilliant. That sounds like a fantastic idea for a film. Greg, do you think that Thomas sold this to you? Will you be watching this?
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of Under the Skin, which we talked about on our previous show. So the Jonathan Glazer film with Scarlett Johansson in it. And also The Man Who Fell to Earth, starring David Bowie, the Nicholas Roeg film. I mean, it does kind of have that kind of feel to it. So yeah, it's more kind of sci-fi than actual horror. But it does, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I did kind of want to watch this because this is more my sort of film, because it was on at the same time as Mayhem, and I kind of drew the short straw on that one. So yeah.
I would
definitely want to watch in the future then.
I would say it is by no means, however, a perfect film. The ending is incredibly rushed. I won't give it away, but it just seems like it's quite slow paced all the way through, and then suddenly, we're about sort of 75 minutes into the 85-minute film. I think we just need to end it now. Quickly come to a conclusion. So I would have liked to have seen a bit more progression, a bit more characters being fleshed out. But overall, good film, and I would recommend it. And great poster. I think I would say best poster of the whole FrightFest this year.
Totally in agreement with you as a graphic designer and appreciative of film posters. It had pride of place in the lobby above the desk as you collected your tickets, so that says it all to me. It's a thing of beauty.